It's Julie Thompson reporting from IAB's MIXX conference during Advertising Week in New York. I am here with Michael Lazerow, CEO and founder of Buddy Media. Thank you for coming, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
We just heard from your partners on this exciting research study you did with Booz and Company. Tell us about it.
So what we wanted to look at was basically how are companies investing in social. So everyone thought that it was going to be so cheap and so easy, but it turns out that you can't automate conversation. You can't automate people actually responding to real customers. So companies for so long have been just messaging, their consumers. So TV and print is just kind of create one message and blast it. All of a sudden, what's more important is how are you catching the responses? So you're no longer Tom Brady, you're Wes Welker, the receiver. It's harder to be a receiver than the star quarterback. And so I think brands are now figuring out that they need to, staff differently. And so when we looked at kind of how specifically are these 100+ brands doing it, who's doing it best, who is, who's still struggling, how can we kind of figure out what are people doing, then what should they be doing, and what better company than Booz and Company, which basically they're much smarter than I am, and they do this for a living. They do large kind of consulting gigs and research and stuff that takes a lot of time and effort, and so we were thrilled to partner with them. And I think the biggest finding that we found that was surprising was how fast things are moving in social, how much people are investing in terms of hiring and paid media and the listing platforms, and and it's just the beginning. So if you look at kind of where the money's coming from, you're starting to get not only digital money shifting, but also TV dollars, which is exciting.
I see. What was the most surprising thing to you about the study in terms of findings?
Well, there's nothing that was incredibly surprising. I mean, we're knee-deep in it at Buddy Media every day. I think the part about how much they're going to invest, and 90+% going to increase their investments in the next 12 months, and then 40% plus significantly increase their investments, and the fact that 40% are already cross-platform on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So YouTube was the third most popular social network behind kind of Facebook and Twitter in terms of interest level on brands. And I think many people in the industry didn't necessarily realize that YouTube was a platform that brands aren't just advertising on, they're building a social media presence, which is that two-way communication.
Totally. And yeah, they have emerged as such a big player. So in terms of, and in fact, they've built their whole thing around, they're trying to be a channel, almost like another network, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, YouTube wants to be not only a channel, they want to be the whole network. And so they want to be the company that people tune into for original content, for, stuff from, the movie studios and the broadcast companies and really everyone. And so in a world where YouTube becomes a really popular TV network, you kind of have to advertise there. And what they're saying is it's not about just the pre-roll and the in-video ads. You can actually set up a presence on YouTube just like you can do it on Facebook. And brands are jumping in. 46% say that, that's their, it's a key part of their overall social media strategy.
Yeah, and everyone's talking about the difference between liking and sharing and all the actions. But Buddy Media now has a conversion tool that links interactions to purchases for marketers. Tell us about that.
Sure. So the missing link in all this social media is how are people actually converting? So all these shares and reshares and tweets and retweets, what's happening? Are they kind of finding a dealer? Are they buying? Are they, whatever the conversion? Are they signing up for a newsletter? Are they signing up for the website? And so we have a product called Conversion Buddy, which is the first product not only to look at the first level of sharing, but looking at someone coming to a website, sharing it to Facebook, then tweeting it out, sharing it by email. So we can see the next, concentric circles and then the next one and see, how all that sharing activity down the whole sharing line drives sales. And that's where a lot of the benefit is coming from. It's not that one person shared it and then someone else clicked on it. It's that it's being shared by hundreds of people who combined have tens of thousands of friends and fans that are driving high conversion rates.
Interesting. So as the founder of a number of different tech companies, how do you avoid the shiny new object syndrome? And obviously this conversion tool, for example, is providing this missing link. But how do you tune into what's really necessary in the marketplace and stay away from what is just a passing fad?
Well, I think as a brand advertiser, what's happening is people are building out systems, so they're not just doing campaigns, which are kind of one-off outbound messaging. They're actually building entire systems around how they kind of listen and how they engage. And Buddy Media, we have 8 out of the top 10 global brands who use the software, and the reason they use it is it's really boring technology. It helps you if you have 200 brands or 1,000 hotels at Starwood, roll it out in your company and help your hotel managers and brand managers in every country engage with consumers on Facebook and Twitter and other platforms. And so I think every company, they're looking at hiring people. If you look at the survey, 77% of all the brands said that hiring people is the #1 priority, and then those partnerships with Facebook and Twitter and companies like Buddy Media, and then their ad agencies and others. So kind of these are capabilities they're building in-house, and you don't build in-house stuff that isn't core to your business. And so the reason why you don't have a kind of whole ad agency in your company is because you want to work with a bunch of them. If they come and go, you're kind of outbound messaging through your campaigns. With social media, you have to own your voice. You're not just going to outsource that to an intern who all of a sudden is talking to your customers. It's the single most important kind of touch point with the consumers that want to engage with you.
Well, it sounds really great. Do you think you'll make the Buddy Media Booz and Company study an annual thing?
Probably. I mean, one of the things that happens with these studies is you have no benchmarks, right? Like, we released a study that showed how people are investing, but you really want to see that over time. And so I imagine we will be refreshing it, probably more than a year, I would imagine. I mean, you really want to look at it every 6 months, I'd imagine. How are companies shifting in a world where kind of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube are really out innovating everyone else in digital right now.
Excellent. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Great to meet you, and I'll see you back in the sessions, I hope. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.